In a dense forest, nestled among tall, ancient trees, lived a little sparrow named Chirpy. She was the smallest bird in her flock, with delicate wings and a soft chirp. The other birds often teased her for being fragile and weak. "How can you ever soar high with such tiny wings?" they would say, laughing. Chirpy felt disheartened. She longed to fly as high as the eagles, but her fears and doubts held her back. Every morning, she would watch the bigger birds glide effortlessly across the sky, while she fluttered nervously from one low branch to another. One day, a fierce storm swept through the forest. Thunder roared, lightning struck, and heavy rain lashed the trees. The strong winds scattered the flock, and Chirpy found herself alone, trembling under a large leaf. As the storm raged on, she noticed a tiny ant struggling to carry a grain of wheat back to its nest. Despite the strong winds and pounding rain, the ant moved forward, one tiny step at a time. Curious, Chirpy asked, "Why don't you stop? The storm is too strong for you." The ant replied, "I may be small, but I am strong enough to keep going." Strength isn't about size, it's about determination and never giving up. Chirpy was inspired. If a tiny ant could face a storm, why couldn't she? Summoning all her courage, she spread her wings and took off. The wind was fierce, but she flapped harder. Her wings wobbled, her feathers were drenched, but she kept going. To her amazement, the stormy winds lifted her higher than she had ever flown before. She soared above the trees, above the clouds, where the sun shone bright and the air was calm. Chirpy realized that the very storm she feared was what helped her rise. When the storm subsided, Chirpy returned to the forest, her heart brimming with newfound confidence. The other birds were astonished. "How did you manage to fly so high?" they asked. Chirpy smiled and said, "It's not the size of your wings but the strength of your spirit that takes you higher." From that day on, Chirpy became an inspiration to all the birds in the forest. She proved that even the smallest among us can achieve greatness when we believe in ourselves and face challenges head-on. Moral of the story: life storms aren't meant to break you but to lift you higher. When you feel weak, remember that strength comes from within, and every challenge is an opportunity to rise.